Trent Cotney and John Kenney are dedicated to helping the construction industry with legal business and safety challenges. Welcome to this week's episode of Law and Mortar.
Hey, this is Trent Cotney. I'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of Law and Mortar. As always, I got John Kenney here with me. John, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing great. It's always happy to be here. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. We've both been on the road quite a bit. I tell you, you've been gone for a while now. Where are you now?
But we're currently outside of we're in North Dallas over by near the airport. We just finished up our weekly training, and this weekend we're off to the great city of Des Moines in Iowa.
Nice, nice. So the tour continues.
Yeah, we're just like a
Um,
rock band out there right now, my wife and I.
yeah, yeah. So I'm curious, obviously you're doing these classes and courses, what are the conversations like? What are you hearing from contractors out there?
It's mixed. I mean, we've been in the Northeast, we've been in the Mid-South, now we're out in the West, and ultimately kind of a mix depending on market. Some are still pretty busy, some are coming out of winter, so it's hard for them to tell where they're going to be yet. But the biggest thing we're hearing is we're hearing some stress. There's definitely some industry stress from all that's been going on, in the geopolitical world that we all know about, as far as pricing, instability. We're getting a lot of the notices they're getting from manufacturers of, things could be going up. Things have gone up quite a bit, but they're not sure how many more. And definitely trucking's been a big problem. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing a lot of issues about trucking delays and not having the amount of trucks that they normally would have due to basically increased fuel costs. One of the interesting things I found out that there's actually truckers parking that were parking their rigs rather than taking loads until they could get the prices they needed to cover their fuel. And I don't blame them as an independent business person myself. I can see that.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, hopefully the prices come down here at some point, but yeah, they've been pretty high lately. I had to fill up the other day and just about had a heart attack. So,
Yeah, boy, you got a
um,
big one of those trucks. Imagine that. I mean, you're talking about
yeah,
another $500-600 a load just the
yeah,
fuel each
jeez.
time.
So I just got back from DC, and you talk about a mess. That's DC for you. So up there for
That's
roofing
ground
day.
zero.
Yeah, had some other meetings, and it was interesting. Primary conversations were, workforce immigration related, but we also talked about affordable housing. What can we do to get more housing starts up and help get more residential out there? And then just some conversations on OSHA, what the heat rule looks like, and multi-employer site doctrine. So very good conversations. I'm still processing everything. I got a stack of business cards, and I need to figure out what I'm doing here next week. But it was good to see everybody. NRCA did a great job putting on roofing day as usual, and kudos to their team for doing that. But yeah, it's been a long week, man. I'm looking forward to the weekend here.
Yeah, it looked like it was a good crowd up there. A lot of people showed
Yeah.
up. I did photos of it. I got to get some catch up that way.
So one thing I wanna talk to you about is you and I are both roofing history nerds, and we like different things, right? We collect different things, and I know if our audience doesn't know, you post every Monday, right?
Every Monday, yes, correct.
Yeah, yeah. So why don't you tell people about sort of your collection and what you like looking at, and because it's amazing. You probably get the same thing. I get a ton of people when I'm on the road talking about the history stuff, and asking about stuff that we posted or saw one of our seminars on history roofing, that kind of thing. I think we're doing it at Western States again this year. But why don't you tell people sort of about what you like to get and why you do it?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I used to do like posts now and then. I didn't have a solid structure to it and find some interesting things. But History Monday, that's Roofing History Monday. It's every Monday. In my collection, I have a lot of advertisement pieces. I go a lot of billheads um, from the right from the manufacturers' literature and all the things dating way way back. Really. So what I try to cover in these posts is probably from like mid 1800s on up. But what I've started doing on these History Mondays is tell a story behind it. I try to give a history of the product, a little bit of history of the company, and show an evolution. And the response has been really, really good. So I'm glad I started doing it that way. We have other things, and I have coins and tokens. I think, and I know you'll tell a little bit about yours, but I think the major difference between what you do very well, and I don't even dabble in that because funny quick side story is how I remember one time we were like, man, you lost this and I won this, and we ended up bidding against each other in an auction a couple years back. So all
Right.
the signs, which I don't mess with signs whatsoever in the plaques, that's your world. But other than that, we both strive to continue to tell that story of our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Over the years, I've really gravitated towards, the porcelain signs, the old roofing signs, the construction signs, advertising, that kind of stuff. Got a few, billheads and other things like that are there, but I like it because it really tells a story. You can kind of see, how the industry evolved into what it is today by looking at that. And the thing you and I have always talked about is nobody's really preserving this stuff, right? You see a pile of old roofing stuff, you're gonna throw it out, right? So I feel, it feels good to like be able to at least keep some of this stuff and be able to kind of tell the story and preserve it. So I enjoy that
Agree.
part of it. It's definitely a hobby. I post on Saturdays, because it's usually when I'm kind of sitting back thinking about things and have a chance to kind of get the stuff out there. But I encourage everybody, follow. I think you use hashtag roofing history as well, don't you, John? Or
Yes, correct.
yeah, so we both use that hashtag. Check that out. We post on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. So take a look at it and tell us what you think. And if there's something specific you'd like us to talk about, let us know. I guarantee between both of us, we probably have something on it somewhere.
Definitely, you want to follow both of us because I look at yours
Yeah.
when they come out. I know you look at mine; they're different.
Yep.
It's just a lot of fun, and we are, like you say, we are going to be doing the history of roofing again out at Western States in the fall. Be a
Yep,
lot of
yep.
fun.
Definitely come and see that. We'll have new material, new photos, new slides for you. So looking forward to that. Well, John, I want to turn to a good question today. This is one that kind of stumped me a little, but I thought it was probably worth asking you, because I know you're going to have a good answer. This one is from Cheryl, and Cheryl's question is, sounds like she is a commercial contractor and she wants to understand, what is the best way to deal with a manufacturing defect. Big question, right? Big question. I'll touch on it legally, but I'm sure you've got some operational stuff. Typically when you're dealing with manufacturers, it doesn't matter whether you're in roofing or any trade, or it doesn't matter what it is. The language of your warranty is going to be one thing, understanding what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. But one of the key things that I've always found is that if you fly in formation, you're going to stand a much better chance of making that customer happy, right? If the manufacturer starts pointing the finger at installation and you're pointing the finger at defects, then pretty soon you end up in a situation where the only one that's happy is the, owner's lawyer. What I like to think about is happy customer, happy contractor, happy manufacturer. So I try to wait to point fingers until after you've solved whatever the customer issue is. But manufacturers are a lot like contractors. There are some good ones out there and a lot of bad ones. So pick your good manufacturers, make sure they're going to step up to the table if there is, a manufacturing defect and be there for you in the event that you need them. But John, I know you can't help but encounter, manufacturer issues on roofing or other trades. What's your advice there for Cheryl?
No, that's a great question. So I'll go back over my 45 plus years as a contractor. Truthful statement, as you said, first of all, you got to go with a reliable manufacturer in any business. You want to make sure they're going to be there when you need them. But that being said, you make sure you have a good quality control process within your company on operations. One thing that I found is a lot of times when I've been told through my field that we have a manufacturer's issue, with a little bit deeper investigation, that may not be the case.
Right.
Sometimes it's more installation than it actually is product. Now, I have had some product failures over the, excuse me, over the years, there's no doubt. But that, when it's being said, if you can do your proper investigation and bring the manufacturer in as a team and say, we have an issue here, not quite sure, say what it is at this point, but this is the problem going on, you'll find out that it gets solved very easily if you're both on the same page. And it's going to be a little bit of pain on both sides usually when it gets done. But bottom line is, and I know you're going to be able to jump right back on this, it is way cheaper to get these things fixed internally and have a happy client than it is to go beyond that stage into level two, three, and up, which is all through the legal pursuit. So that's what I
Yeah.
would do.
Sage advice. Nobody likes lawyers. You need to do whatever you can to engage in self-help. And part of that is working out collaboratively with the manufacturer to find a solution for the customer. You can wait
Yep,
and point fingers later, right? And that tends to be
absolutely.
a great strategy. So, John, I want to thank you as always and thank our loyal listeners. We've been doing this for quite some time. We appreciate you greatly. We'll try to get another episode out here in the next couple of weeks. But if you need to get me, you can reach me at trent.cotney@arlaw.com or anywhere social at Trent Cotney. John, how can they get you?
Same on the email. You can get me at jkenny at cotneyconsulting.com, and you can get me on social at jkenny or at John Kenny. Either way, you'll find me on that way.
Great. Or check us on the road. We'll probably be in a city near you. So we appreciate you guys and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
See you later. Thank you.